Okay, your total's gonna be 108.
I also sort of like that one.
Which one?
That one, the orange one.
There's a lot of orange ones, but, okay. This one?
Mm-mm.
This one? Okay, so there's this one, or this
The one right behind it.
Okay, so I've got two back here. There's this one with... Hey! Oh, shit. Dan? Dan, you wanted to see me? Dan?
Oh my God, your face.
What the heck, Dan?
Oh, chill out. It's Halloween.
I hate Halloween.
Nobody hates Halloween.
Was there something else?
Yes, there is something else. You owe me $182 from the register by tomorrow, or you're fired.
Is this another joke?
No, but I wish it were. I like you, Nora. I like you a lot.
Ew. What were you thinking?
Oh, I thought, back off, you creepy ass mofo. I have $100 to my name and rent to pay, so do not test me.
So then that's what you said?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. I like you too, Dan.
Good. Then maybe we can find an alternative payment.
I absolutely hate where this story is going.
Oh, no. It gets worse. Dan, please.
Just think about it. Let me know by the morning.
I think I know a way you can get the money.
Oh, thank God.
My buddy Guy, he works at this place, and they need people just for tonight. But I want you to keep an open mind because you might not like the sound of it at first.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I'm in. I'm out. I hate Halloween. I hate Halloween. I hate Halloween.
What's up?
Looking good, everyone! Clowns, zombies, I like it. Looking good.
Hi. I was told you need people for tonight.
Who said that?
My friend Marie, she knows some guy who works here.
Guy the slider guy?
I guess that's the guy.
Huh. You ever work a haunt before?
Never.
Scare easily?
Very.
Good enough. Get yourself to wardrobe and makeup and tell them to prep you for a boo hole.
Okay, but what's a boo hole?
Not to worry. They're digging a fresh one as we speak.
What's a boo hole?
Close every hole on your face.
What?
Haunted spot number?
Boo hole?
Which boo hole? I need a number. 3? Is it 3?
Sure. You seem very jazzed about that, so let's go with 3.
Doors open in 20, folks. Cue the sound effects.
Hey, how you doing?
Hell no. Oh my God. Oh, that's big. That's big. Boo hole number 3. And that, my friends, is a boo hole. Boo. Boo! I am a monster. I come to suck your blood.
Wow, that was awful.
Please, don't hold back. Hey, you're a guy, right?
Actually, it's Slider Dude. That's my professional name. And you are?
Pathetic girl in lame outfit. Semi-professional name, but nice to meet you.
15 minutes to showtime, people. I need everyone outside.
Good luck, newbie.
All right, everybody, circle up. Let's go, let's go. All right, you scoundrels, gals, ghouls, and otherwise, because we like to be inclusive here. We've had a great season so far, am I right? Yeah! All right. This is our last night, so give it all you got. Scare the living shit out of these motherfuckers. Make them cry. Give them nightmares for years. I want them suing us for therapy after tonight. All right, I'm just messing around with you because you know we don't have money for that. But get them good. Now let me hear you scream!
I see you.
Hey, you good, Nora? Yep, sorry, I'm good.
This place sucks. Can we go home now? No, I want to stay for 5 more minutes.
Where's the restroom?
What's your name? 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 Your name. What's your name? What is your name? What is your name? Your name. What's your name? What is your name?
Nora.
You bailing, newbie?
Just shut up, guy.
It's Slider.
I know. It's Slider Dude. Because you're so fucking famous working at this cheap-ass local Halloween haunt. Congratulations, loser. You must be very proud.
You think you're better than me, Nora? Is that it?
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I like what I do, and I know I'm good at it. Which is obviously more than you can say for yourself right now. Say hi to Marie for me.
Oh my God, your costume. Hey, how's about unzipping that body bag so I can cop a little necrophilia?
Not this time, motherfucker.
You're fucking dead man, Dad! How do you like me now,
Please stop.
my God. You scared the shit out of him.
Is this the best fucking holiday or what?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Q&A session with the creators of Haunt. Before we begin and welcome our 4 panelists, let me tell you a little bit about Film Premiere Live and Indie Shorts Mag. Also, please remember to use the chat function. Drop all your questions in there, any Q&As, anything you would like to say, and I will point them to our moderators. I'll point them to our panelists for you because my job is the moderator. So, a little bit about Film Premiere Live. Film Premiere Live is a platform for filmmakers to release their films online, much like how they would release it in physical theaters. In short, Film Premiere Live will be a virtual theater that will come with daily shows, festivals, private shows, and more. We will be showcasing one film every week that would involve repeat shows or new films depending on the viewer's demand. Film Premiere Live is proudly presented by Indie Shorts Mag. Indie Shorts Mag was launched in the summer of 2015 as an offshoot of the Short of the Month. It was consecrated with the singular purpose of celebrating cinema and everything revolving around it. We at Indie Shorts Mag cater to filmmakers and cinephiles alike as a medium to connect over their common passion beyond the confines of any language. Besides hosting reviews, interviews, tutorials, and news related to short films, indie films, foreign films, and festivals, we also work around the web series and music video circuit. We envision to expand ourselves to form a home ground that holds curated training sessions with some of the leading experts of film fraternity across the globe. In our effort to stay above the din, we have dedicated panels of writers, critics, and reviewing teams who crusade to ensure that the content generated is both authentic and uncompromised. Our motto to establish Indie Films Mag is as the go-to for all seeking authentic information on independent cinema. We take pride in having maintained a platform that is identified for its quality journalism and research. Now, down to the Q&A session. This is obviously a Halloween special event, and we are proud to produce 4 panelists for you here today. First up, please welcome to the screen Mark Sadaka. He is the co-writer and editor of the show. Mark received his BA from Cornell University and MFA from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, where he wrote, directed, and edited numerous short films, including the Emmy Award-winning The World Against Jace. His professional writing credits for film and TV include Overnight Delivery, starring Reese Witherspoon and Paul Rudd, and 2 seasons of CBS's The King of Queens. As an editor, Mark has cut 3 feature films, in addition to 9 short films at the American Film Institute Conservatory, where he received a second MFA in film editing. Let's welcome Mark. Yay! Hi, Mark. Nice to see you. Next up, please welcome to your screens the production designer, Krista Thomas Scott. Krista is a LA-based production designer and set director who hails from NYC, where she worked as a theatrical costume and set designer between stints at the Juilliard School and the UN. Her recent features include Be the Light and Then There Was Eve, while her shorts include the likes of Habit, Witchin', Red Chair, and The Mission. Music videos include Salem Elise, Bush, Galantis, Crimson Apple, and Echo Smith, as well as commercials for Lancome, Jack in the Box, J. Crew, Old El Paso, and Des Equus, among others. Please welcome Krista.
Yeah!
Yeah. All right. And right with her, let's welcome the director and co-writer, Nikki Bourne. Nikki is the writer-director from Bay Area and a graduate of AFI for directing. She currently is developing multiple projects simultaneously, from TV shows to features to kids' books. Obviously, we've seen her work, and by the way, she is seeking new management, so someone jump on that, please. We've seen her talent. We know she is capable. Let's welcome these 2 wonderful panelists. And last but not least, it is my pleasure to introduce the producer, Asia Coleman. Asia is a graduate from the University of South California School of Cinematic Arts with a BA in Critical Studies and a graduate from the American Film Institute Producing Program with a master's in producing. She's also the recipient of the Producers Guild Deborah Hills Fellowship. Currently, Asia is a senior coordinator for the American Film Institute's Producing Program and the head of the Dodgers Studio, a California-based development company that looks to diversify content in front of and behind the screen. Those are our 4 panelists. Everyone, please give them a clap or give them a round of applause for their wonderful work. Congratulations, team. Your work is amazing. Your 15-minute short film was absolutely brilliant. Undoubtedly, all of you did amazing work. Any one of you, I'm sure it would not have gotten to the point it was at. So let me just jump right into the questions, because I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions they want to ask, and I have questions from the team. So let's get down to it. Let's start with Nikki.
Yes.
Halloween is usually associated with the festive spirit of horror. amongst other things. But what prompted you to do this, to run Haunt along the lines of comedy, which is like the complete opposite?
Well, I worked at a haunted house for 3 years, and like I was just totally fascinated with the subculture of the people that worked at a haunted house. I thought it was they're hilarious and awesome, and I think my brain just like thinks in comedy most of the time. That's just what my go-to most of the time. So, that.
That's very interesting to like bring in these two sections of the world. So Mark, how was co-writing with Nikki Bourne, your experience collaborating with her? Like the film success was amazing. Obviously, it should have been quite fun, but what was your experience working with Nikki?
It was awesome from start to finish. Nikki had this idea. She worked in the haunted house. She knew that character. We just synchronized our thinking. We beat out the story, developed the characters, and it was kind of just a really fun experience from beginning to end. It was great.
That's amazing. So Krista, did Haunt turn out exactly like you envisioned, or was it more, or was it something completely different?
I think nothing ever turns out quite exactly how you think. When you're dealing with a rental house, you can pick all the props that you want, but if somebody else already has a tag, you might not get that thing that you thought you would have. So a little bit of it is planning, but when I rewatch it now, I'm like, oh, that looked really good. I can't believe that. In your head, while you're doing it, you think, oh my God, I wish I'd had like 6 more babies to hang up in that tree. And so you put all the babies you put in the tree and you're just going to roll with it,
I think there's still a baby in the tree at
There
AFI.
better be a baby.
Well, don't tell anyone, they might actually go and find it. Oh, speaking of babies, Asia, you are the producer, so this is definitely your big baby. This is your child. So what was I know this is a question that we shouldn't ask parents, but what was your favorite bit of Haunt? What was your favorite bit of your baby?
Oh my God. I think my his baby. It's Halloween, I'll allow it. Everything can be morbid. My beautiful, the beautiful thing of any movie to me is like walking on set the first day when all of the pieces that you've worked so hard to put together kind of coalesce into this beautiful, well-oiled machine. So yeah, that was definitely the first day of filming. It was very exciting.
Yeah. That sounds really amazing. I can't imagine just doing that. That would be so like, it's actually coming together. So speaking of part, let's ask Mark, which parts surprised you the most? Often you visualize things differently when you're scripting, and then when it comes out, it's like completely different. So what caught you most by surprise?
I think the end probably, because we were, it was so much development about how we were going to do it and where it was going to be set, and just watching that gel so perfectly was a really satisfying experience, because you never know what's going to translate from the page to the screen, and especially the very end where we get the reveal and the whatever runs down the leg, to make that work was very satisfying, I think, for both me and Nikki.
Applesauce and cocoa powder.
All right. So speaking of bringing things from the script to location, let's ask Krista, which part of the location or settings or characteristics are you most proud of to be involved with?
That haunt maze was incredible. I used every single flat that was in AFI's arsenal, and we mapped it out like 20 times, and putting all of these flats up to make this maze so that she could get her one shot of the entire situation from the very beginning, where you enter and you see that giant clown face, and then you get to the end and you've got our favorite butcher drinking a yoo-hoo. That was by far the hardest, but the most rewarding.
So we have a couple of questions from the viewers. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
We have a couple of questions from the viewers, and we're trying to put them on screen now. I'm not sure how that will work from a technical perspective. Let's see if that works. Oh, yes. Frankie asked, where was the movie filmed?
Asia?
I can take this. Yeah,
Asia? Oh, sorry.
This dollar store in Burbank called Dollar King. So the soundstage of AFI outside and this grassy knoll at AFI, and then also Dollar King in Burbank.
Yeah. What made you choose those locations? Was it just like, oh, that looks really cool, let's do that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, AFI was enough to let us shoot there. As a thesis film, we don't usually get that, but the soundstage location itself was kind of perfect in terms of scope that we needed, and then Dollar King, that's just my favorite dollar store.
It really is a great one.
It is.
From Tasha, anything spooky or unexplained happened while shooting? Oh, so this is a very thing when it comes to haunted movies.
Yes, actually.
Would you like to share some stories?
So absolutely nothing in the fashion that they're thinking, but the final end scene when everybody, is crowding in, I broke down from an anxiety attack right before that. So I think that was really terrifying. And I have the first AD, I was like, I don't know how to direct this part, bro. And I just cried. And then he was like, get it together. And he basically, he honestly mostly directed that end scene. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when everybody crowds around. Yeah, that I knew what I wanted, but I was like, I don't know how to tell him right now.
It was really cold that night.
It was
really
yeah, it was cold. It was really cold.
It was cold. There were babies in the trees.
Yeah, I had a full-blown anxiety attack. That was the scariest thing. Unless anybody has anything else, but I think me crying for our finale was pretty terrifying.
Anything to add, Asia? Mark?
Unexpected. Go ahead, Asia.
Oh, sorry. Well, funnily enough, our composer is in the audience, Stefan. He asked me to do this, so excuse me. Okay, so he was actually in China. He had to go to China while he was doing the songs for our film. So he would send it to us from China, and that was completely unexpected. But he got it.
That's right.
Unintentionally international.
That's right.
Mark?
I couldn't think of anything myself. I was thinking just my kids were all in it, and they did a couple of awful things as they went along. Yeah, my son was the annoying boy. He kept asking her name, and my daughters were the ones that. What did they say? What was their line in it, Nikki?
Line.
Literally made it up on the set. So there was a lot of unexpected things with that going on.
It was just like, I want to go home. Like this place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of stuff happened. So that brings us to our next question from Crystal. How long did it take to film?
It was 4 days and then a day and a half.
Right.
That's the specific amount of time.
Yeah. Let's look at it from a broader perspective. How long did it take to go from the initial conception of the idea to today's film?
Oh,
oh wow,
years.
I don't know.
Years.
No, yeah, I mean, like, okay, probably like, I would say a year and a half. Let's go, a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half. For 15 minutes.
In some ways, AFI gives you too much time for these movies. So, like the writing development stage was months at AFI. Maybe it's because they just got to like stagger all the films or something. But there was a long amount of time just to get to those 4 days of shooting, and then we did a reshoot, right, or 2 reshoots.
One half of one reshoot.
Yeah, and that was a month later, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 3-4 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they always say, right? Like you see something for a short period of time, but the work that goes behind it is just very incredibly long. All right, next question from Ben. Any inspirations for this short film?
So many. First of all, my experience working at a haunted house, and then my experience dealing with men and sexual assault. That's that. Yeah. That's it. Those, and that subculture. To bring it back to a lighter note, the subculture of working at, a haunted house. It's just like it's something that I haven't seen, before. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this.
Well, we had a meeting where you showed me a whole bunch of just visual inspiration. You had that wall with a big clown face and really wide vertical stripes. It was very Tim Burton. And so you came in with these visual references, and you had this gigantic clown face, and his mouth was opening, and people could walk into the mouth.
Like
and
this?
So, something just like this.
Oh my god!
It's almost like I made it.
It's almost like you made it.
Yeah, and I had this amazing scenic who came in and spray painted that giant clown face that you see when you first walk into the haunt. And then he also did a little bit of the detail work on the actual mouth that people are walking in at the end. So we basically blockaded the front to the 8 of the AFI soundstage. So I put a whole bunch of painted flats up and kind of barricaded the doors open, and then we filled the whole space with smoke and had people walking into it on a red carpet, aka the tongue. So I felt like that worked pretty well. Yeah, and a whole lot of what I came up with was things that you specifically were like, oh yeah, and it'd be really cool if we had a gurney with some guts on it. So
that's just all working at a haunted house for years. It was like, please build fantasy haunt, and she did.
I tried. There was a lot of sides of beef involved.
Yeah.
What about you, Asia?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, no, we were just talking about like what inspired you to do this.
Oh, okay. Well, what inspired me to work on Haunt was actually, honestly, my relationship with Nikki. She's like one of my at AFI, and I really was excited for her to tell her story. Like, I thought that how do I say it? Like, it was like a fun, whimsical experience of the sexual assault, and I also thought that. I really wanted to work on a project where we got to build a haunted house, like I thought that would be so cool. And Krista was my next door neighbor at the time, is now Nikki's next door neighbor, because Nikki was
here. Exactly.
She was so talented, and I was like, I have to work with you. I think this is the perfect project to do that. So yeah, it all worked out. And then Stefan, who was one of my best friends in life, he ended up doing the music for it. Mark, who had worked with us for Cycle 1, was an incredible experience. He helped like a lot with casting on that film, and he's great. So it was just working with a lot of my friends, and that's how I like to make this being around friends.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Like we can work together with friends. You work together well, and you create something that you're all proud of as well. And Mark, what about you?
I remember Nikki and I just bonded over our love of subcultures. And when she told me this idea taking place in a haunted house, remember, Nikki, you wanted to think about the Pin Boys also. That was another one of your ideas. Like just, I guess that's one of those projects you're working on. Sorry. But the haunted house aspect, what is it? The subculture after the haunted house, we just bonded over. And every one of those people in the movie were really based on people she knew. And so, as inspirations goes, I mean, she really knew Slider Guy. She knew every one of those ancillary characters. And so it was just fun to sort of like go off those real people and then develop them and find their place in the movie and make the ensemble. So it was great.
Sounds like you got some pieces. Oh, yes, Asia.
Fun story. During pre-production, we would go to a lot of haunted houses. This is a quick story about Mark. Terrified of every haunted house. So we would walk him through calmly as we could. It was the most adorable thing you've ever seen.
It's horrible. I don't know why anyone does that. I'd never been before, never since.
Did you prefer your own haunted house or the one that you visited for research?
Mine, for sure.
I'm joking. Okay. All right. Our next question is from Crystal. Who is a filmmaker you look up to, or what was inspirational for you?
Who's that question for?
Everyone, I guess. We'll just go in circles.
Okay, cool. I like honestly for Haunt in particular, it was early 90s Cameron Crowe and Tim Burton. That's it. You combine the two and you have Haunt. Krista?
Yeah.
No, I mean, the Tim Burton was definitely a flavor that was happening. Every time I had to paint something, it was like WWTBD.
What would Tim
Burton?
Yeah, I think just bold stripes was such a big factor, and then having that sort of juxtaposition of things that were two-dimensional and things that were actually three-dimensional. You've got painted backdrops, but then you've got a big gurney full of blood and guts and actual sides of beef behind the butcher. So yeah, I feel like Tim Burton was a big inspiration, and the rest was sort of how do we cobble together what we have access to and what's in our mind's eye and make it as realistic and funny as possible.
Asia?
For me, wearing it, Brian De Palma, very ultimate revenge fantasy, feminist scripture, basically, beautiful movie. Love Care.
Mark?
I think Nikki nailed it. I mean, Tim Burton obviously was an incredible inspiration, but just like Cameron Crowe, I think anyone that just does smart comedies, that was our real intention, to just do a comedy but that resonated in some way. So those are the kind of films we were watching.
It must be quite difficult to have to bring together these very polar opposite genres, for all of you, for sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Our last question for now is from. Oh yes.
Huh?
No,
I was just gonna say, a lot of that smart writing that you see in this film, that's Mark. That ain't me. I'm just gonna be straight with you. That was Mark. All that, I would pass him a script and then he'd hand it back and it was 10 times smarter and quicker. You know what I'm saying?
It was really the back and forth though. It was, like I said, it was such a good experience writing with her.
Definitely, without any of you, even one small cog would have turned the project completely different. That's for sure. All right, our last question for now is from Frankie. Nikki, what is an actor or actress you would love to work with in the future? Pick one.
Hale Appleman, who is currently, who was in The Magicians. I look at him and I'm like, we need to do a Gene Wilder biopic with Hale Appleman. I'm just saying, there's so many roles I could see Hale Appleman in. I just love his energy. I love his off-camera energy. He's just queer and very, down for the cause. I love Hale Appleman.
Yeah. Right off the bat, what would you have him do?
A biopic with Gene Wilder. No. Okay. No. Okay. What I would have him work on a project that I am writing right now, and he would be playing a clown called Grimaldi from London era. Victorian. Grimaldi. I'd have him play Grimaldi the clown from Victorian era London.
This gets to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Please.
Agent.
Yeah. So, Asia, producers are the prime force behind the greenlighting of any project. So, what made you pick Haunt in particular?
I mean, once again, my relationship with Nikki, can't say enough about that. I was coming through a lot at AFI. It was like a military experience almost. We've been in the trenches. We made a film before, and Mark was also on that film, and that experience was just so lovely. And Nikki was like, "I've got this idea. It's a feminist horror comedy," and I'm like, down. Let's do it.
Sounds amazing.
I have to say though, Asia, like you were always on board, but when it started getting more into social issues, I think then you really took it under your wing, and it became like a cause more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've I guess issues like women's rights, African American causes, just anything that's extremely liberal. I want to make a movie about in some sort of fashion. Any sort of time that there's any sort of injustice to any sort of minority group, I want to talk about it, and I want to make a movie about it, and I want to help people be represented through film, and that's like my goal.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, though. I love your energy and your motto towards it. But it's usually the filmmakers and the actors who walk away with all, the accolades or the brickbats or the Oscars. But producers usually remain the silent witnesses to it all. So I'm sure there is one thing no one can take away from you, though. What lessons have you learned being the producer behind the stage, that kind of thing?
Oh my God. I mean, I learned to trust my power, which sounds so weird. But I feel like producers have, generate like a world from within themselves somehow, and then they help creatives tell their stories and imbue them with confidence. And it's something that I'm really happy that I get to be a part of, and I get to witness, and I get to like meet so many people, like kind of like a puzzle, put them together. One person I didn't get to mention was our mask maker, who's been a friend of mine for years. Joe, he made our masks, which are very incredible. He was so nice, so kind to work with as well. And just things like that I get to do, where it's like, oh, I've got a friend that can do that, and then like calling them, and then getting to reconnect with people, that's amazing. And then yeah, I mean, I guess I've chosen to be a producer because I want to be able to help people that were, I guess, like me growing up, who didn't feel like they fit in anywhere, have like a place. And that's what I've chosen to do.
That's a very lovely message. So I can't stop staring at the poster behind Krista, because it reminds me of the mouth, and it reminds me of the stripes. So now I have to ask you, Krista, what was particularly challenging to achieve in Haunt? Because obviously we have all these amazing sets and amazing designs, but what was the most difficult?
There was a lot of math involved in figuring out how to fit the amount of wall space into that soundstage so that we could create the longest haunt with as many different areas as possible for this incredible one shot that we did. That was the most taxing in terms of planning. Manpower, I would say strapping those walls onto the outside of the building for the mouth that you see, just in terms of like, we don't have access to a cherry picker. We're just up there with like ladders and brute force, and try to make it we will like spit and wishes, hold it together, make sure it stays there for the shot, and then we can let it fall down. But having to take it off and put it back on again was a little bit of a struggle. And also, it was always in the back of my mind, a whole lot of student films get shot at AFI, and making sure that as much as I possibly could, you didn't know that you were shooting at AFI, because that grotto area, I thought, these people, if you go to AFI, you drive past it every single time you go there. So it's very well known, and if I could do anything to sort of disguise it, mask it, make it look different and special for this experience, the baby singing from the tree definitely helped. But just the gravestones and just all of these little pieces that when you put it together would actually just blur the edges of this world so that you could believe that you were any place other than AFI. So if someone asks, where did you shoot it? I'd be like, oh, you couldn't tell? That's great.
Yeah, it's the pride of turning something to something else.
That's how I know I did it right.
Well, considering you guys all in your own departments put in so much work into everything, at the end of the day, the one cutting everything out though is Mark. So because you have so much effort and you spend hours filming, refilming, and then we have production and so much goes into this, how do you find it objectively when editing your work, when it's such a labor of love? How do you decide what has to be cut?
Well, that was a goal of mine when I went back to school for AFI, was to be able to write something that I could edit, because you really learn like what works on the page and might not work on the screen. And I think for the most part, Nikki and I kind of honed the script enough that most of it translated well. But when Krista was talking about the maze and that one shot, that was probably the biggest challenge, because on the page, it takes a sentence to say, walks through the maze of the haunted house. But when you actually have a minute-long shot, or there's a little longer than a minute, and we first screened it, that's a long minute, And it's like probably 2/3 of it have really great stuff, but the other third is sort of the between moments of walking to the next interesting thing. So that really was the hardest, biggest challenge. And it would seem so simple because it's just this wonder shot, but to cut in that shot in the right way. And I just watched, because I hate to admit it, but I'm not a horror fan, as I guess they kind of alluded to. So I really didn't know horror cutting. So I watched trailers of horror films and saw the way that they did little like snippet cuts that sort of like added energy to them. And so if you look at that shot that was, I don't know, 1 minute and 10 seconds, I think it's like 36 seconds now or something. And it just sort of does these really cool little transition moments to get you to the next part and sort of do this like faux scary feel to it.
Yeah. It must be quite difficult to try to bring in all these different elements as well. So coming back to Nikki then, the film is equal parts dialogue and well-timed dramatic scenes. So how much of that was already present during the scripting process? Because we heard Mark talk about how he edited certain things together. So going back to the beginning, then how much of that was already there? Like, did you plan it or was it along the lines? And what was something that changed a lot during set or production? Like something you did not expect and it just like, we're going to do that instead.
Yeah. So I think a lot of that, the script was really tight for the most part. Like we really got it to a great place where it was really tight. We knew pretty much what was going to happen. Of course, things always change when you're on set. Things like unfold, and when you're on the day and you have set, ideally you start to figure out like, okay, we can play a little bit here, or like, what if we did this? So certain things would change. I think one of the biggest things that changed was like the chase scene in the end. Originally it was interrupted by her falling. And when we got in the editing room, Mark pulled me aside and he was like, okay, so what if we just cut that and we just have the chase, the straight through chase? And he showed me it, and it was so much more powerful that way without her like falling and then like, some stuff. She fell enough. She fell enough through that movie.
But I think tone was the biggest challenge throughout, because the whole social aspect of it, of everything to do, the dramatic elements were added as we went along. It started out as just a comedy, and I think sort of always making sure we had that balance. And from the script and even in the shooting, there were some things that we redid because the tone just wasn't. Remember? Like Dan it was finding that balance of Dan being creepy and intimidating, but always remembering we're kind of in a comedy here. So that was always a fine line.
We had originally the scene with her and Dan when he's bringing her into the room for the first time to sit her down and talk to her. When we first did it, it was really moody. It was and we watched it back. It was very dark, very moody, and we were like, "This isn't funny. Like, it's just creepy."
We reshot it. Yeah,
we reshot that because it was trash. So.
It must be very difficult to try to bring these two parts together. Oh, we have a question from the audience. Right, from Frankie. Have any of you, so there's a question for the whole panel, have any of you worked with any well-known directors? If not, who would you like to work with? Producer or director? So we'll go around in the circle again. Nikki?
Well, my mentor in school was Rob Sparrow, who directed Leprechaun in the Hood. I don't know. I'm sorry, I have the memory of a fly, so maybe I have, and I'm on the spot now, so I'm not remembering it.
Yeah, all the names in the world.
But, like, everything's flying out of my brain right now. Director, I would like to work with Taika Waititi. Next.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I
Taika-
second that.
Yeah,
I second
Taika.
that. I second it.
I want Taika all day.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mark?
When I think about it, more than the directors are the producers that I've known through the years, and the ones that really are doing it just for the love of filmmaking. There's a producer that I work with named Mark Johnson, who did First Diner, Rain Man, a whole slew of movies, and just the nicest guy you will ever want to meet in your life, and just so supportive and so about the project. You know, it's not about anything but the project and what's on the screen. And those are the guys that I love working with. And when I read about the ones that are like that, those are the ones I want to continue working with.
Aja?
Let's see. I like Nikki. Everything like flew out of my head. I don't remember like who I've worked with at this point. I don't remember like what my teacher's name was. Yeah, but I do.
Just pick one.
I want to work with Melina Metz. I think that she would be perfect for this like have coming up about the male gaze and how it affects Black women. And that's that's all I can at the moment. But I'm definitely gonna work with Nikki again one day.
For sure. Sure.
When we all get out of our house.
Huh?
When we all get out of our houses, we can work with whoever we want to. All right, so that brings me to my last question of this session for the panel. How has COVID affected your job, like this project specifically, like your role in the project? So around the circle again.
You and on a Zoom call instead of on a stage. There's one right there.
Yeah. How has COVID affected this project?
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, your role in this project.
I mean, this project was finished a while ago, so
yeah. When you're not talking about on set, it's the promoting what you used to think, oh, it's gonna go to a film festival, and then there'll be an opening, and we can all go, but we can't go, and we just have to sort of watch it in our little boxes. And having no audience is deeply affecting. When you don't know what someone's reaction is to what you've created, not having any sort of feedback, no laughter, applause, booing, anything, it definitely changes the energy, and you start getting to a feedback with your head, like, did I do something good? Is it bad? Is it? Yeah. Does nobody even did anybody notice? Is it on pause? Did your Wi-Fi go out? We just not having any sort of feedback is a very big change, and not having the person-to-person relationship with people that are viewing what you made. We just believe that somebody watched it out there. We had our own premiere, luckily.
Yeah.
But right now, when things are starting to get shown a little bit more, just on the screen in your house, no idea what the response is. And so it's nice to have something like this where we get people who didn't work on it seeing it and then telling us what they thought.
I mean, I begged people on TikTok to watch it. That's where we're at. I made a video on TikTok. That's where most of these people are from. Which, shout out to all y'all. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much. That TikTok worked. It worked. So that's where we're at with it. Is I'm making TikToks going, please watch my movie.
Social media becoming a huge part of the filmmaking process in terms of, crowdsourcing has been there for a while, and we all sort of have our own networks where we're finding the background actor that happens to be the person that is the perfect so-and-so for our haunt. That 32 seconds of the one shot, if you didn't have the guy laying on the gurney, like kind of like chewing on the end of his entrails or flipping it around, I can't remember which one he ended up using. He's twirling it. So you got, a guy like twirling his entrails. You have the butcher drinking a yoo-hoo. You've got, the dude swiping, the zombie swiping on Tinder.
Oh yeah.
You may
Girl
not notice
stretching
that.
with the ass.
You see all these little tiny bits. Those background actors are the thing that makes or breaks that 32 seconds of time. So
yeah. Right. Before we get to Asia's answer to the question, I'd just like to say that we are being flooded with love for the movie. Crystal says that's great. Really enjoyed it. Loved it. Crystal sends. And we also have Ben who said that it was a great movie. So we are just being flooded with love right now for the amazing job you guys did.
Yay!
So back to Asia. Asia, how has COVID affected you on the project?
Luckily, it was finished way before it started. I feel like when we were in a theater, we've seen the response in real time. Something about being in a room with the people and then hearing their reactions and then just being like instantly validated kind of in that way is a little more intimate than online. But this is also amazing, and I guess I'm like in charge of like rewriting how shoots are happening at AFI during COVID for first year at least. And it's like a world of difference. Like people have to be in the same household if they're together in one scene, or they have to shoot them separately. Intimacy can't happen. Children can't happen. So Mark's kids wouldn't be able to join us. And so I'm kind of very thankful that we shot when we shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mark?
I was lucky that I had started a feature in November that was shooting in Georgia. So we had to do it remotely. And it was just happenstance that, we set up a remote system where I could edit from here and they'd be shooting there. And who knew that by March, we'd have to do it that way. So we were already set up for that. So that was great. And I was able to work on that through the summer. But, unfortunately, I do mostly low budget independent stuff, and there's so little shooting now. It's just impossible for anything with a smaller micro budget to be able to afford all the COVID rules that are in place now. I was supposed to start a feature last month that just had to postpone till hopefully the spring. But, I think high budget movies are shooting, TV shows are shooting, but sadly, nothing at the level that we all like to work at.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
That's unfortunate. All right. Any parting words that all of you would like to leave the audience with before we go? By the way, we have just been flooded with love. Nikki, your TikTok seems to be working really well because Crystal asked how many people are here from TikTok.
I gosh, I don't know, but closing words. Thank you to everybody that actually like took my plea seriously and went out and got tickets and showed up on Halloween night. Like, I hope this gave you guys something fun to do on Halloween. That's all I wanted. I wanted people to see the film and have something fun to do, something fun for all of us to get back together to and talk about it and have a chance to speak on it. And yeah, just thank you so much to everybody that showed up. My TikTok people, I love you.
Krista?
Oh gosh, I'm really glad that this is getting seen by as many eyeballs as possible, because as crazy and as a whirlwind sort of process as it was, it's one of the things that I'm really proud of. I think back and I look at it and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
I made that.
Yes,
I made that whole thing.
Yes, you did.
I made that whole thing.
You did.
I painted that whole thing.
You did.
Holy crap! So it's very rewarding to have at least people that I don't know see it and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And look at those dead babies in the tree. Always comes back to that. Always.
Yeah. All right. Mark?
Yeah, I'm just thankful people are seeing it. I'm thankful I'm seeing these people who I haven't seen for a while, and it's just great to be talking movies again with people.
Yeah. Asia?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who worked on the project. Thank you to you, Sulan, for moderating this. Thank you to everyone who showed up.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful event, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. It's been more than a pleasure to host. Thank God for COVID, actually, a tiny silver lining, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be here halfway across the world. Right? Sorry? Sorry?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something. Connection just like. Anyway, thank you guys, everyone, so much for watching. We are more than happy to have you today on Haunt, and thank you for joining us in this Q&A session. Let's give one more round of applause to our amazing panel. And thank you guys so much wherever you are, whether it's Halloween or it's the day after or the day before. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Bye.